I guess my first question is to you guys, Sparks, Ron, Russell. By the way, the documentary is fantastic. And it's clear in the documentary that you guys have always had a thirst for film. So, my question is, did you expect that the first film you would ever do would be a documentary about yourselves?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, no, we didn't. We had always imagined it would be, us doing some sort of, a feature film, and something that we, and more specifically, even a musical. So we had no idea that would be the case. But we were just so pleasantly surprised and happy when Edgar had approached us about the idea of doing this documentary, because we had been hesitant in the past about undertaking a documentary of Sparks, just sometimes thinking that might be taken as well. It's the obituary of the band or something like that. But we had so much respect and love for Edgar's films that we thought, if anybody's going to do a documentary about Sparks, it's in the best hands possible. So we were thrilled.
My next question is for you, Edgar. Of all the things you could have made a documentary, and your first documentary at that, about, how did you decide that you wanted these guys to be the subject?
Well, I think it was something that I wasn't necessarily planning to make a documentary, but I had like both thought it and then started saying out loud, as a Sparks fan, I'd started to think, why, nobody's done a documentary about Sparks. And then I used to say it to people, saying, like, somebody's got to do a documentary about Sparks. The only thing stopping Sparks from being as big as they deserve to be is some overview of it. Or, so, and it was one of these occasions. It was actually at a Sparks gig in 2017 in LA. I went along with the director, Phil Lord, and I started on my usual spiel, which was like, wow, Sparks are the greatest, most influential band that don't have a documentary about them. And Phil Lord said, you should make that movie. And I was like, yeah, I will. So Phil pushed me into it. And then I mentioned it to Ron and Russell that night. I watched the gig, and as I was watching the gig, the idea was spinning in my head. And then I said it aloud to Ron and Russell afterwards. And now 3.5 years later, it exists.
That's awesome. Now, my final question for you guys, and I want to thank you once again for your time and for letting me view the film. And I want Ron to answer it first, because he's the man of mystery and the man of very few words. What are you hoping that people take away from this film?
Well, I think that, that the film presents a case for perseverance and sticking to what you think is right, and working under your own terms, but in a very unpretentious way. It isn't like that there's some slogan over the top, everybody work this way. But I think just the subtle message of the documentary is that, and if somebody is encouraged, not even necessarily to have a passion about us, but just in general in their work, to adopt that kind of attitude, it would be extraordinary.
I mean, I just say I think the sort of the if there's a message to the film, it's just that true success is being on your own terms. So if you succeed or fail on your own terms, it's still it's still a success. And I think that was sort of what Ron and Russell have proved, is that they've actually gone through sort of ups and downs, but really it's all sort of part of an amazing sort of career. And I think sort of it just really, what you sort of see in the movie is the story of Sparks is almost like the tortoise and the hare, in terms of the real success is the fact that we're here 50 years later talking about them, whilst there's still a band that exists and create work as good as they did right at the start. And that in itself is incredible.
Thank you guys so much, and I wish you the best of luck with the film. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.